Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Well, I recently ran across a little video snippet, an interview that took place with Luis Elizondo, the former ATIP director, and this was made last year sometime. This interview occurred last year sometime. It didn't make the final cut of a documentary film that's been out since November called The Observers, but the company put this snippet on YouTube. I just recently ran across it on Reddit, and I'll leave the clip so you could check it out for yourself. But I really thought that Elizondo said some interesting things about how it's we the people need to tell the government, hey, we're sick of this. It's really up to us to prompt our government officials, elected people in the Pentagon. They need to know, hey, you can't just keep sitting on this. We put you there. We put you. You're there for us. You're there for us, right? We want to know about this. We want to know what you know. We want all the information that's available. But he had some interesting comments, and I'll read some of them here for you. He said, it's up to the American people. The government works for you. You do not work for the government. The government is supposed to be responsive to your interests, your needs. The problem is when we give governments too much authority to make decisions on our behalf, we run into problems, and we've seen that historically. I don't think it's the government's job to tell me how I should think or feel about this topic. He's talking about the UFO topic. I think the government's role should be very much relegated to that of the national security interests and protecting our national sovereignty and our borders. That's it. Anything that involves the psychological, philosophical, or theological implications of this topic to humanity, you know what? I don't want my government involved in that. I want us, the people, involved in that. We need to determine what that means for us. And if we're waiting for a public figure like a president, who, by the way, is a career politician, to tell us disclosure is here, then I think you may be waiting a long time. I don't think we need that. I think we already have that. We already have Congress and former directors of CIA and former directors of national intelligence and former presidents saying, yeah, it's real. It's real. You've had your disclosure. Congratulations. There it is. Yeah, there it is. They have done that. They're not sharing everything with us. There's people in the Pentagon that are keeping a lid on certain things here, and they're saying that they don't know what some of these objects are. We know what they are. We're not dumb. Some people are dumb. Some people just are ignorant and haven't done any research. But people that are interested in this subject, people who have researched this subject themselves, understand that there's extraterrestrials on this planet. Why they're here, we don't know. But anyway, continuing here with some of his Elizondo's comments, he says, if we're looking to a career politician to tell us what the truth is, we're looking at the wrong people to do that. I think what we need to do is take this in our own hands. We need to encourage the government to pursue this in a meaningful, thoughtful way. Now, since he's made these comments, of course, the Congress has passed legislation recently that creates that new office to study and analyze UFOs. So there has been a step in that direction with regard to that. But the thing about it is that there's stuff out there that's still being withheld from us. And I think these politicians, the people that we put in the office, they need to understand that we want to know what's going on. We know the truth of the matter is that there is something going on, and there's been a cover up for 75 years. We want politicians who want to force the Pentagon to release what it knows about our extraterrestrial visitors here. That's what we need. Politicians who do that. That's what we need. Anyway, continuing with what Elizondo said here, he said, my call to action to the government is very simple. Do your damn job, okay? Stop thinking about what you think is in the best interest of the American people and just do the job that you were put there to do. And let's not forget, if you fail to do that job, then we'll find someone else who can do it better. That's how government should work. And his advice to the government is this. He says, hey, history is going to judge you, and you've got a choice. Be on the right side or the wrong side of history. If I were you, I'd do some serious soul searching right now because the truth is inevitable. It's coming, and history will look back and will judge your actions. It is inevitable. It's imminent. That's what he says. It's imminent. History's imminent. There's not going to be no stopping it. At some point, people are going to look back on this, the time of UFO darkness. I'm going to wonder who were the people that were trying to keep this from the American public. Who were the people who were elected officials who weren't doing their jobs? I mean, I give them credit. They finally passed some legislation, right? However, it's just not enough. It's not enough. There are things that our government has. They already have the proof. There's proofs in there. There's no question in my mind about this. Anybody who studied this subject knows that they have to have something. There's no question about it. They know a lot more than they let on. And it's our government. We're the ones who pay taxes, right? We're the ones that put these politicians into office. Right, they're the ones who are supposed to be in charge of the people in the Pentagon, right? The top military person in this country answers to the president of the United States, who's elected by the people. So, I mean, who is there some sort of secret government that we're not allowed to that works on behalf of itself? Is there some kind of group out there that's completely secretive and is joined with other factions from other governments of the world, and they all keep this a big secret? Because obviously there's other governments of the world know this too. There are officials in other governments of the world who know for a fact that there are extraterrestrials coming here, but for whatever reason, they're still keeping that secret after 75 years. It is 75 years this year, folks. This is the 75th anniversary since the UFOs becoming a thing. I mean, back in 1947, that's when the sightings really started to increase. I mean, there were things that happened before that, but people really didn't start to acknowledge it until 1947. And of course, 1947 is when a lot of things happened. Not only were there a lot of sightings, like including the most famous sighting probably of that year was Kenneth Arnold seeing multiple objects flying over Mount Rainier. Okay. In addition to that, there was the Roswell crash, which I know even some people in ufology still, they don't want to. They're not sure if they believe it. Some of them don't believe it, but it did happen. If you do your research on that, you will know that a balloon had nothing to do with that situation whatsoever, other than the fact that it was used as a prop, as a part of the lie that the government has been telling us since that time. But it's time. I mean, we are the people. This is our country. Our government was supposed to work for us. We want to know what's going on. You don't keep secrets, or you don't treat us like babies. It's not like we put you in the office to treat us like children. Okay, that's not what's going on here. We put you in the office to handle the affairs of government. Okay, not to keep secrets like this. This isn't a national security. How could it be national security? If there's something coming here, it's beyond. If they wanted to do something, they could blow the whole world up, probably Grand Moff Tarkin Star Wars style. Okay, if they wanted to, with a Death Star, but I don't think they would do that. But if they wanted to, there's nothing we could do that they're coming here. The more information that the government provides us, the more all these people who've been getting abducted, for instance, all these years, right? The more information that's out there about what is known about these visitors, maybe there's something that could be done to prevent abductions. Maybe there's something that people would be able to figure out here to stop it from happening. But as long as this continues to be a secret within the government, within the halls of government, within the halls of the Pentagon, within the halls of whatever this secret group is within the Pentagon that sits on this whole gigantic story, the biggest story of all time, as long as that continues, then we're going to be ignorant. The world is ignorant. I mean, for one thing, there's multiple millions, probably a billion people who don't believe in aliens. Okay, how many people? Then the people who aren't sure, then the billion other people who aren't sure. Then there's another billion who do believe in it. But yet we don't have no information on this. So as long as we remain in this state of ignorance, basically a forced state of ignorance by people within our government who have put us there, then we have no way to to study this, other than we do have scientists now studying this thing, right? They're starting to finally do that, right? However, we need what you have. I mean, tell us more about these beings. You have to have more information. The Pentagon has to be sitting on this stuff. There is no question about this. Bob Lazar did not lie. Okay, he was telling you the truth. I believe Bob Lazar 100%. That guy had no reason to lie. He never made any money about off what he reported. There'd be no. So obviously, this is, again, they've been sitting on this secret for all these years. Obviously, the top reason has to be for the military implications. That's the biggest reason. Okay, well, if we figure out this before the next guy, and hey, we could control the world. That's all fine and dandy, but the reality is there's other questions, there's other implications here besides military applications. It's about where we are in the universe. It's about history, the biggest historical story of all time, the biggest story of all time, the biggest news story of all time. The fact that we're being visited, and we are being visited, and it's time. I mean, this is do your job. Like Elizondo says, do your damn job, because it's time to do your job and get this information out to the public, because it's not helping by keeping it a secret. It's not helping. I don't know who in God's name is it helping by keeping this a secret. You're gonna prevent panic by releasing this. Okay, there's gonna be some morons out there who are gonna be going complete ape over this. They're gonna go batshit crazy. Okay, of course, we already know that's gonna happen no matter when you come out with this. Well, however, but plus there'll be a lot of religious groups are going to be, they're going to pretend it's not real. They're going to say it's demons from hell that are visiting, in spaceships. They're going to say that those spaceships are actually vessels of Satan and they're here to steal your soul or something like that. And meanwhile, while they're holding out their hand asking for, more money. So but we already know that. We already know that that's going to be part of this, right? But it's 2022. This has been going on too long. You've been sitting on this secret. You've been lying about it too long. You've been sitting on the secret too long. It's time to come out with this. It's time for the people that we've elected to do more than just pass this legislation. Actually, I'm all happy about that. But it should happen. That should have happened 50 years ago. It's just we need more. We want people in the government to say, you know what, do your research. Or the people that we have elected into office, they should be doing their research. They should be reading some of the books that we talk about here on this podcast all the time. We talk about UFOs and a National Security State by Richard Dolan, right? That's basically gives you a complete historical overview of the entire UFO problem and the United States government's response to it since 1947. Read those books and then you'll realize, okay, yeah, obviously there's something going on here. Obviously the people in the Pentagon know a lot more than they've been letting on. You would know that. Do some research. Educate yourself. You're there. You're in office to do a job. Get the Pentagon to release this information, to tell the truth. It's not just some videos here, and we want the bodies. We want the pictures of the bodies. How are these beings? How do they have the same physiological aspects of the human body? I mean, what makes them different? They have to know this. They do know this. They're sitting on this information and they're not giving it to letting the other scientists of the world look at this and study it and analyze it. They're not allowing that. They're preventing us from growing. As the human race, we're being withheld. We're being prevented from moving forward, as we should have moved forward a long time ago. We should have started moving forward back in the 1950s from this, rather than putting a stigma, a deliberate stigma, basically an attempt. What the government did back in the 50s, they were the ones behind the stigma. They created that. They created that stigma. They actually had a policy of pushing UFO reports aside as, they're just people who are crackpots that saw these things. They're just crazy people, or they just misidentified something, or that kind of stuff. It was a balloon, They're the ones who've been, and they created this stigma, right? And that stigma, it's stuck. I mean, you see how people in the media act when this thing is brought up. They sit there with a smirk on their face because they don't believe it. That's because that's how they were brought up. They were brought up to think that this whole thing was crazy, and it's not crazy. It's actually happening. Just a few days ago, I was on a property and I saw what must have been where a UFO landed, a trace evidence, a circle in the grass that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just in the past couple days, more evidence. And this kind of thing happens all the time. These things are landing. They're landing. It's real, folks. It's real. And the government, they work for us. Again, they work for us. If you're not mad about this, you should be mad. Now, there might be people out there to say, oh, you know what? You're scaring me with all this. I don't think I want to know. Well, guess what? It's real. You got to face the reality sometimes. And this is real, and you need to know about it. And your government has not expressed the truth to you all these years. They've been withholding it. People, a certain faction within the Pentagon, and most certainly, other world governments have been keeping this a secret for military reasons. Number one. The other reasons, again, panic that it might cause and the effect on some religions. Not all religions, some religions. And I'm sure there's a couple economic, maybe they think the stock market's going to crash or something. I don't see why. I mean, I think, why would it crash? That doesn't make any sense. They're just, people are going to just not do anything. They're going to quit their jobs and hide in the mountains somewhere because they think they're going to get attacked. That's crazy. I mean, people are crazy, but they're not that crazy. Anyhow, again, if you're not mad about this, you should be. And in fact, after watching that video with Elizondo talking, it really got me worked up. And he's right about everything. He's right about everything he says. This guy has, he's basically, put himself on the line. Sometimes I wonder, like I've talked about this before, like, is he actually on some sort of a secret mission for the government, or I don't know. But I mostly lean toward that he really just wants to do the right thing. He's somebody that's leaning, like, he's trying to do the right thing. He wants to get the word out there. Basically, everything he says, he's pointing toward. He's not saying it outwardly, but in a way, he's saying it's extraterrestrial. He can only say so much, and in a way, he is saying it. He's basically saying that this is extraterrestrial. I mean, when you hear stuff like, what does he say here? He's talking about how the effect on humanity this whole thing will have. Like that doesn't mean, that's not Chinese or Russian controlled objects. That does not going to have some profound implication on humanity. That's not that. Why would it? That's nothing profound. It's just another weapon of war. We've all seen that before. So he's not talking about that. When he's talking about profound implications, he's talking about alien visitation. That's what he's talking about. Again, I don't know how the government goes about to do this. I mean, because a lot of people are going to be mad that it was kept secret. A lot of people are so in the dark right now and have no idea really what the reality of the situation is. They just have no clue. No clue. And so when they do find out, when the truth is finally revealed, there's going to be a lot of angry people out there. A lot of people like me are going to say, see, he told you. That's about as angry I'm going to be. I'll be happy that they finally came clean. But the war goes on, the worse it can only be, right? But yeah, this gets you all worked up. When you watch that little snippet, that interview that was cut out from the final movie, the final documentary that they were making, you're probably going to be get worked up a little bit too, because not only that, he talked about how the government basically tried to erase his identity pretty much. They tried to screw people in the Pentagon, tried to screw him over, and luckily for him, he had some allies in the government that stuck up for him, that prevented these things from happening. So yeah, it's time. I don't know who the hell these people think they are. Who the hell do these people think they are in the Pentagon to keep this a secret for this long? Some obviously at some point in the long past, there must have been some agreement that was made that this was just above top secret, above anything that they have. and we got to keep a secret and maintain the secret for, and anybody who goes against that, or they're in trouble, they're going to go in jail, they go to prison or whatever. And that's why there's been some sort of probably fear. There's been some level of fear, among different people in our government, in the secret echelon, the secret secret areas of our government that just are live in fear of trying to tell the truth, because there's something that was established at some point, probably in the late 40s, early 50s, and whatever was established, it makes it a crime against the national security. It's a crime against humanity, or who knows how they worded it. But there's some sort of something in place that makes this. You don't, if you tell anybody about this, you're going to be in big trouble. I mean, and then there's then people who, like, over the decades, who have been made privy to this information, to the data recovered by different United States military and intelligence offices with regard to the extraterrestrial issue, have come to know this. They have this fear that they know they have to keep this a secret. But it's time, whatever that agreement was, it's time to, rip it up. It's time to rip it up. It's obvious. There's things coming here. Let's stop playing this game here. It's a game. It's just like this game of land of make-believe, like out of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's totally, absolutely ridiculous. And again, it insults the intelligence of other people out there. It's like, something's going on, but you're being told by your mommy and daddy, oh, no, it's not real. It's not real. You be crazy. Don't tell anybody about that. You'll be crazy to say something. Of course, I digress a little bit here. Of course, it's a little bit better than it used to be, all right, with the report that they released last year, and also people like Elizondo stepping out and talking about this, and also Congress passing that bill. However, it's still not enough. That's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's not the tip of the iceberg. I mean, they have way more than that. Way more to talk about that they're not talking about. It's time to It's time to move on to the next stage of human experience here, and that human experience includes knowledge, absolute knowledge, undeniable knowledge that we are here, that there are extraterrestrials on this planet for whatever reason. What are the reasons? They have to know that too. Do you know what some of the reasons are after 75 years of looking at this? Do you have? I mean, maybe you don't know the exact reason, but maybe you could speculate. Maybe there's some. What do you know, right? And if you don't know, then that's even a bigger reason to let everybody else know, because the more heads together, we can figure this out. But we need the information, the data you have, the scientific information, the scientific data, everything that you got. We need to have that. Our scientists need to look at. Everybody needs to look at this. Everybody needs to be brought on board. These scoffers need to go away. Go away. They're actually propagating a phony reality that there's nothing going on. That's what they've been doing all these years. These skeptics have been propagating a phony reality that there's nothing going on. Anyway, yeah, it's time. It's time. Yeah, we need more than what's going on here. This is our government. This is our government. It's your government. Or you and me and everyone else. It's our government together, and they're not sharing the truth with you about this. Are you mad about it? I am. Everybody should be mad about this.